7 and welcome to yet another TBC webinar. For those who are coming in for the first time, it's a pleasure to welcome you all for a series of webinars. We are the team from the Bento Coach, where our mission is to make coaching convenient. A little housekeeping message for you to just read through and comply, purely to have a seamless or an interruption-free webinar. We believe that coaching works. At the Bento Coach, our whole idea is to connect bite-sized concepts and insightful reflections in a very bespoke program. And what we've realized is that coaching has to be a continuous learning process. And we've seen the greatest results when we talk to a lot of clients and a lot of fellow coaches, that anybody who's on a continuous journey sees the progress that keeps going northwards. And that's what is also one of the mottos of the Bento Coach. Our team comprises of our founder, Anjani Gandhi. She's a founder and executive leadership and a Lego play coach, comes in from a very strong diverse industry experience, purely from the HR space, and also has been doing a lot of OD work and a lot of OB work. Vimal Katiyar, another co-founder, is a leadership development coach, comes in from a very strong manufacturing and operations background. Vimal is also a leadership development coach and has been representing a lot of multinationals in his past corporate career. And I have been an executive leadership and a team coach, and close to 3 decades of the healthcare experience. And yes, now also a coach that is really trying to make a difference to the clients and the companies that we serve for. Our guest speaker today is a very dashing gentleman, and I must take you back to a memory that I have of Suresh. I met Suresh first more than a year back, and we were so-called buddy coaches. We both were a part of the Marshall Goldsmith coaching program. And the first coaching lab that we got into the entire program certification was both of us. And what actually hit a chord straight away was one that, he was in the active corporate. I just moved out of the corporate. But yes, I think we both had a bond of the life sciences. We both came in from the life sciences industry. So there was a lot of connect, though he had a different function and a role that he was handling. But it was a lot of mutual admiration and a pick off straight off from what we began. And I think that association and that warmth continues, and truly doesn't come unnaturally to Suresh. He's a senior vice president and a CHRO at Aragen, life sciences, earlier known as GVK, biosciences. And if I have to read and tell you about what Suresh is all about to me, Suresh is an engineer by qualification with an added postgraduate diploma in human resources. Suresh also comes in with an international certification of the Marshall Goldsmith and is an executive and a team coach. Suresh is a leader, an HR leader by a very strong margin. Suresh comes in with his background and his experience in terms of being an HR leader that actually facilitates to strengthen the organization valuation as well as values with the right people, process, and purpose. And I thought this was very intriguing, because you generally have HR colleagues who actually speak about values and process and people first, and less about the organization valuation. And then I realized his background has been always in the sales first, and then he moved into the human resources. So the career purpose that Suresh brings on board is to nurture and build globally competitive organizations and globally respected leaders using his OD and HR competencies. With more than 20 years of industry experience, Suresh has moved from the IT product and IT to the pharma services, that is the CRO organizations. A very proven track record in driving HR functions in multicultural environments, purely the MNC backgrounds, and of course, moves into the Indian corporates and the startups. So here you have our guest who's actually dabbled with companies of different sizes and different origins. And I think that brings in a huge focus on the session today. And we couldn't have thought of a better, gentleman to come and take that for us. Suresh has demonstrated more than 3,200 corporate resources across geographies and complex and varied business verticals, while managing budgets of in excess of $33 million. A proven expertise in growing organizations through organic growth, as well as the mergers and acquisitions, including the largest market in the world, which is the North American environments. He has managed changes in context of the vision change, the business strategy, demergers, and of course, a very high power leadership changes and crisis management. Suresh will be speaking today on career management, the bulletproof principle to manage your career. With this short introduction, I would like to give the stage to Suresh for taking us through what it is. And then, I have a set of questions that Suresh is the right person to help us understand and address these. Over to you, Suresh, and welcome to the webinar.
Thank you so much, Prashant. Thank you so much. So, can you hear me, Prashant?
Yes, we can.
Very good, and delighted to reconnect with you and also Anjani and Vimal for quite some time later. I cherish the memories we had with both the coaching interactions, be it Marshall Goldsmith. Also, we had a Grow More coaching interactions. Thank you so much. First of all, I thank all three of you for thinking of me to invite for this interaction. Thank you so much for three of you. I'm very delighted to share my perspectives, my experiences, some of my wisdoms with all the participants today. I'm sure some people who cannot join today can go through the video offline. We will certainly post that. And I hope some of my inputs may be of value to the participant today. I will do my best in doing so. So career management, it's very close to my heart. One of the reasons is I myself has taken multiple career transitions in my life. I started my career, as mentioned by Prashant, as a salesperson and transitioned to HR function as a recruiter, and then took a career shift within HR function from recruitment to HR operations, and subsequently to HR business partnership. And then I moved into leadership role. These are all not just the two transitions, but the third transition I've taken, moving from MNC IT product company to Indian pharma services company. So I had managed multiple transitions, has seen that what these transitions mean to the individual going through that. And some of them I'm going to share in today's presentation with all of you. So the first thing I want to bring is, the one other question comes to all of our mind is, where to start this career management? I'm already doing the job, where to start, when to start. Some of the questions you have, let us try to demystify that. So the first thing is, I always believe in, if you fail to plan, and it is no planning to fail. Please, I'm a great believer of that. Planning is very essential component of successful journey. Either it is a career journey or organization journey, planning is very essential. And if you don't plan, if you leave things to the chance, you can't afford to do that in the career. You cannot afford to do that. And the other question comes to our mind is, I'm doing good job. Why I'm not promoted? Why I'm not growing? What is happening to me? These are some of the questions. A lot of times, some of my colleagues ask me this question: what to do now? And also, I have witnessed that some of my mentees or colleagues taking career not as seriously I expect it to be. They may see that this is the job, and this is the way they can make the money to take care about their family needs. So I want to demystify that too. Career is very, very important aspect of our life, be it identity. Most of us, it is identity. Important aspect of identity, not only just financial security. And some of you who are passionate about some aspects in your life, if you can convert that passion to the job to the career, it's not just identity, it's experiencing the life. that important is career. But for some reasons, from the childhood or when we started the career, we have not given this kind of briefing or debriefing the importance of the career on our identity, security, experiencing the life. That is the reason we take it as a job, not as a career. And a good example I can give it now. So where to start now? Yes, we know that it's very important. Career is very integral part of our life journey. But where to start? I would like to reflect upon our stories, the Panchatantra story. You all know that the childhood. Our teachers has told us no previous story. I just changed the images to frogs, but no, it generally is a previous story. You know that this currently the pond has enough water, but there are three frogs thinking three different perspectives there. The one frog I call as a Vishi, it is smelling the change in the current environment. It is not too much immersed into the current ecosystem, but thinking, no, there are some changes happening. I started seeing that some greenery ecosystem is going off. What is happening around it? There is another frog called Glossy. It is just watching the surroundings, and in case some threat will come, it want to jump into the water or it want to take care of itself. The third one is very relaxed and enjoying the present moment. You can see how relaxed this lady is, and not thinking anything, enjoying the present moment, which is good. But can it sustain that? So you may see these three characters, though I said Vishy, Glossy, Lazy, you may be able to reflect, or you may be able to see similar archetypes in our organizations of Vishy, Glossy, and Lazy. And let us see that what will happen to Vishy, Glossy, Lazy, their thought process. So with this, I would like to move to a thinking process that, yes, there are three archetypes, the three ways of thinking about the career. And the question is, do we need to always worry about the future without enjoying the present moment? That is what I'm describing it. No, let us see that, and let us see that what it leads to that, having not planning the career, what it leads to that. So if you don't plan the career, you may lead to career derailers. It may lead to derailing your career because of various reasons. And sometimes this just derailment then doesn't stop at a couple of months, or doesn't derail absence of promotion, absence of merit increase, absence of happiness at job. But sometimes it's get into mid-career crisis. I have met many colleagues from IT industry, my ex-colleagues. If I say that the percentage of people has gone through mid-career crisis, it may be mind-boggling, and you may be really surprised to hear that. It is approximately 50% of my ex-colleagues, when between the 40 and 50, they have gone through mid-career crisis. That means losing the job, either losing the job, stagnated, organization asking them to go through the RIF process, or they took up the roles which are less significant, they have a pay cuts, or they went into some kind of other businesses, nothing to do with what they have done in the last 20 years time. Lot of situations came on their way during mid-career crisis. Some of them, in fact, they left the family in Hyderabad and took up jobs in very remote places in India just to manage the mid-career crisis. And they always started cursing these organizations that never planned. I did all good things to the organization, but they never took care of me. So what is that? Is it that makes us to think, is it the organization responsibility for an employee's mid-career crisis? Is the organization responsibility of career derails of employee behavior? Let us see that. But typically this derailment I have seen, especially leading to mid-career crisis in the out of 5 stages of career life cycle. In the third stage, I call exploration specialist in mid-career stage, as 50%, at least in IT industry, I've seen that going to this crisis. And it is. I'm not saying that it is always because due to employee, but it is also industry trends, technology, obsolescence, cost pressures in the organization to trim the organization. And to drive innovation, a lot of organizations are planning to moving into flat structures, no traditional organization structure. This is leading to a lot of redundancy of the jobs or positions. And the behaviors, the experience is very painful. High burnout during these situations, and they feel depressed sometimes. And the early warning signals, they ignore it, sometimes lead to mid-career crisis. The early warning signals is fall in their performance ratings, manager continuous feedback for improvement, lack of recognition, absence of promotion, the feeling that they are not able to contribute, and the feeling that they are the last person to come to know what is happening in the organization. These are all the early warning signals, but leading to high burnout and other situations, leading to job redundancy and other things. And do not underestimate that. And sometimes these career crises don't stop in the job ecosystem or organization ecosystem. It will lead to, or it has a cascading effects on your personal life. I've seen families has many other challenges, not because of financial crisis, but lost in identity, social stigma. A lot of things lead to other challenges in the life. So it's very, very important to manage the career proactively, to avoid this mid-career crisis, and also knowing some of the nuances of derailers, career derailers. We call 5 derailers. Sometimes the individuals, when I see that one of the derailment behavior is exhibiting for quite something, sometimes is unwilling to learn and adapt, is one of the important derailers. I see that in the individual traits are no. So they don't want to learn and adapt to the new ecosystem. They have excessive self-interest is one of the derailment behavior. Lack of courage, they're very passive, do not want to fight for their rights or do not want to stand up for what is right. And overly controlling behavior. I've seen some of the managers, they lost their job, they were not able to get the other jobs because they are known as the tyrants and people don't want to work with them. An organization tolerated them for quite some time, but they don't want. The last but not least, they don't walk the talk. They think that nobody's observing that, but the reputation is well known in the organization. So it's very important to know your self-assessment, what is your strengths and what is your derailers, and proactively start working on that and also plan your career. And that can lead to the better career management. So do you mean to did I mean knowing derailing behaviors will take care about entire career management? Answer is no. You also need to understand the changes in the organization ecosystem, industry ecosystem, the global ecosystem, country ecosystem. It's very important because your career, your job, your organization is not in isolation, it's working. It is working in the context of industry, context of your state and country and global ecosystem, technology and other things. It's very important that to manage, to plan your career better, to keeping track of these trends, global trends, local trends, political trends, functional trends is very, very important. No, the one myth which led to a lot of people mid-career crisis is, the one myth is they were thinking that it is the organization's responsibility to manage their career spectrum. Organization need to take care about their career. They were thinking that I do job well, you promote me, and I'm loyal to you and the organization, and I'm ready to develop Java skill if mainframe is not good. I'm ready to develop a Python skill if you approve that budget, I will do that, and you take care of it. And these value systems, this especially the mindset of employees, thinking that organization is responsible, primarily responsible for their career, and they gave that control to the organization, has led to disastrous outcomes in the subsequent years of their career. And in fact, organizations in the last 20 years of my career, I noticed that organizations are less and less taking ownership on individual careers for various reasons. One reason is the tenures are coming down. Earlier, employee was working for 10 years, came down to 8, 6, 5, 4. Nowadays, you can say a good tenured employee is there with you for 3.5 years. Oh, you celebrate that. So in such kind of ecosystem, the loyalties of mutual loyalties are no more exist. So organizations slowly putting the bonus on employee to take care about their career. They don't want to take as a primary responsibility. And the second trend which is happening is gig economy. If you notice that the jobs of a lot of FMCG industry, if you notice it in the last 5 years, with the introduction of Ubers, Olas, Swiggy's, Zomato, and the Amazons. So you see that significantly some of the job families has evaporated, and it came up in a new form on about these kind of a companies. So in fact, you know that Ola is starting the battery scooter. They're moving from, they're not totally moving, but they're also investing on that. They are shifting, organizations are shifting their focus. At the same time, some of the job families are evaporating. Unfortunately, we are not able to sense that, the change in the organization and global ecosystem to get ready. We are like a second character, like a glossy, what I said. If it comes and hit me, I will jump. Let me wait for let it hit me. So, and some of the people, even it is coming up, Uber is coming, this kind of COVID situation is coming, and a lot of challenges are happening. They're not able to realize that they're like a lazy and they're really got into this crisis. They do not know how to respond as a third archetype in the change management. So it's very important that things are changing. It is not no more a job doing job well, no more developing hard skills. It's all about important thing is managing relationships in addition to managing the job. Job is a very important aspect. I call it as a foundation. But how do you manage relationship with manager? How do you manage your relationship with colleagues? It's very, very important because tomorrow, most often, you get next job offer from them, references from them, correct? So it's very important. Second is the soft skills are gaining momentum. The career plateauing, I have noticed that even it happened in IT industry, it happened in pharma industry, it happened in CRDO industry, that the organizations no more want the people with that 8 to 15 years experienced people. They started feeling that this is the this layer, they don't want it. They want to refill with semi-freshers and with the technology and some kind of automation. They want to manage them. They are feeling that this layer can be taken away. I have seen a lot of stress in this layer, people with more than 8 to 15 years kind of experience. What to do now? It happened to IT industry. I'm doing good in Java. Now they don't want me. They want a semi-fresher to do this job. Where can I go? So it is very important that some of the people could able to retain the jobs or change the roles to managers, change the roles to project managers, or people managers, and other agile coaches and something like that. They succeeded. Some of them could not able to take the shift because they lack the soft skills. Some of the soft skills, including good communication skills, collaboration skills, interpersonal skills, emotional intelligence skills, they got into this crisis and they could not able to come out. Last but not least, people thought that they can manage with the work, but never focused on reputation management. They never thought that while working, the reputation they carry in the organization ecosystem is very, very important. They never realized the importance and they were only focusing on the job, or they think that nobody is watching. Their reputation preceded them because wherever they go to job interviews, they're not getting the job. They're not sure why they are not getting it because the reputation in the current company is already speed of the light going to the next interview and they're not getting the job. They do not know why companies don't select them. Am I not able to do the job well or no, not able to answer the interview? But the reasons, at least good of 1/3 of cases I have seen the reason is the reputation traveled before they went to the interview or after they completed the interview. So hiring manager not comfortable to taking them. So it's very important. It is your credibility is your currency. We underestimate it. The credibility of what you're known for, that giving commitment, keeping commitment, doing the work with extremely well, and the mindset of excellence. These are all your new currency, not the brand name of the company, title as a senior manager, and the car you drive, or the training programs you attended. It is less important because the credibility is your currency. And And people, of late, they realize that, but in some cases, it's already late. So, uh, and the point I'm saying that is, how do you build the reputation? We talk about it during the Q&A session. It's a very important aspect. So yes, now I myself have seen that there is a shift in levers of career management, effective career management. It changed from organization to individual. Ownership is individual, not the organization. So what is the formula? Yes, there are many aspects to, many levers are there, many ways to manage the career. Is there any formula? So I thought about it with my own experience of managing three big career transitions. And one thing I felt it is the first X factor, I call it as, is the job related experiences. It is a lot of people, at least some of them, lot is maybe too exaggerated, at least some of them whom I know, they think that they gave a job, I'll do the job and go home. They do not realize that how what it means to them for the career. They need to build a career, not do the job and go, because career is all about the series of the jobs or experiences they're accumulating, which will help them to reach the goal they kept it. So to build that experiences, build that skills, they need experiences. I have seen some of the effective career management people are taking special projects. Whenever you say there is a project going on, sir, they will come to you and say, hey, Suresh, can you put me into that project? And I said, yeah, there are already 2 people out there. I don't mind. I have interest in that project. I want to work on that. Do you think any manager will say no? Someone reach out to them and say, no, I want to be part of this project? Absolutely. 99% of managers say, okay, welcome, please do that. And the second kind of people who managed to career very well is my ex-manager. He has done a beautifully, he managed his career beautifully, very, very well. His technique is, he takes adjacent opportunities. You go to the manager, see that what is the pain points of the manager. It may not be related to his job function. It may not be related to his skill. You will ask him, sir. He says, no, I'm stressed out. This is the work. Nobody's doing it. He slowly say that, can I do that? If you don't mind, I have some skills. Can I do that? He used to spend a lot of weekend time, do the work. I have seen that slowly when he started doing it, manager is dependent on him to perform the job. And he started asking one day after 3 months, can you make that job, that additional responsibility as part of the job? He has grown in the career pretty fast that at the age, with 17, 18 years careers, he became, CHRO, he became MD of the company, a reputed IT company. So that number, his technique is that encroach the adjacent opportunity. So is that enough? Taking that may not be, that's good, but you also need to ensure your network relationships you need to cultivate. A lot of times we just go to the people when we need it. We don't cultivate the relationships. Like you don't go to your land, agriculture land, and put the seed and expect tree to come. You need to cultivate it. So you need to feed it. You need to nourish it. So these relationships are like that. You need to nourish it, cultivate it, and important stakeholders is managers. You need to identify some of the mentors and meet them. Some of the champions you need to create. Mentors are different and champions are different. The difference is, who is the one person in the industry will stand up and say, if they find a suitable opportunity which your profile will fit, will stand up and say in the large audience, go and hire this person. He will do the best job. I will give the guarantee. Who is that one person or 2 people who is going to say that? So how do you think they will automatically come and stand up and say that? Absolutely not. We need to cultivate that. We need to work on that. That is also part of very successful career management. This is addition. I can tell you this is a good addition, skills and experiences and relationship with champions and mentors. But the third aspect, which is important, I call X plus Y into Z. What is this? It is called reputation. Your reputation precedes you, I told you. This reputation is a multiplication factor, multiplier, not addition. It has positive connotation and negative connotation. Despite you have relationship, despite you are performing job well, if your reputation is not good, and your overall career management index will come down, career advancement index will come down. That's an important role. The most of the people from mid-career to senior management, uh, they don't manage this reputation part well. They leave it to the hands of the surroundings, ecosystems to manage the reputation. It is something like, I do my good job, people need to appreciate me, people need to talk great about me, people need to perceive me like that. Do you think it will happen? So you need to manage the reputation. You need to manage your brand as a company, as I said in the previous slide. Imagine that you are a company. How do you manage your brand, your reputation in the market? How do you create a brand around your product? That important is it. So what kind of products you have? Your products are known, you are pursued as a specialist in the given area. If it is human resources, talent acquisition, you should be pursued as a specialist. If you are in a mid-level management career, your people need to be pursued a very credible person and also reliable. Now, sometimes you do job very well, sometimes you don't do well, and this reputation will follow you. And being collaborative. A lot of times people said, I did great job, but why people don't hire me as a manager? Why, what is happening to me? Because the reputation is very difficult to work. He's a tyrant. He's a manager, less collaborative. He creates the silos, and people don't want to work with him. So the reputation follows. So it's a very important, the formula. Sorry. So the formula for this is, it is now add more experiences and skills to your curriculum. Please encroach the different areas, build relationships, build champions, and ensure that reputation, what you carry in the minds of the stakeholder, is positive, and what you wanted. You need to drive that. Do not give reputation in the hands of other people. You need to drive it. You need to communicate it. You need to articulate it. Okay, it's a very important. And last but not least, in the formula, while I talked about the formula for bulletproof career, but one important thing is looking at the current ecosystem. Some of my colleagues will come and ask me how to manage it. Now it's very volatile in the ecosystem. Now COVID situation is there, technology, excellent, lot many things are happening. My recommendation, in fact, I practice this. I always keep two areas, my expertise in two areas. In the sense I can do this, I can also do equally good, say 2 areas. The second area I built it. Now, if I lose this in this career path, I have alternative career I can build on, not from the zero, at least from now, and the 50-60% of the career of the midpoint. So it's very important that the individual need to recognize that it's not about one skill. You need to focus on 2 skills or 2 areas. It's very, very important. Yeah. I have also seen that one of the success stories, one of my friends, he changed around 7 companies in the last 17, 18 years. And but the 7 companies, but he worked for only 3 managers. Important. We heard about all these years that people leave the managers, not the organization. Employees leave the managers, not organization. But I have also seen a vice versa phenomena where employees leaving the organization, not the manager. So sometimes it's very essential. So if you follow the successful manager, if the manager is capable and you have a good equation, you follow him, there is a chances that he will also be successful because he's a leader. He knows how to leverage your strengths, that chemistry and other things. That is also one other a pattern or archetype I have seen in managing the successful career. This is the last but one slide. So before I summarize that, I know that we know that the things have changed. There is career levers have changed. We need to understand that. The formula is important. It is not about additions, experiences, and relationship. It is also important is reputation. We need to manage it. The reputation is a multiplier. If it is negative, your total career will be negative. Positive, it multiplies that. The same words, no, it increases and decreases your career advancement index. But how do we execute that? Knowing these principles, do you think we can become successful? We can manage our careers better? I don't think so. It is all about not in the planning. It's also not about planning. It's all about executing it. So my experience is how you allocate the time for this, implementing this formula, variables in the formula is very, very important. So I recommend this 70-20-10% model. Is 70% of time, your career time you're spending, focus on doing the job well and build a reputation as a credible and reliable person in your ecosystem. And one other thing I can tell you, 70% of the time is whenever organization need you, whenever organization is going through a career crisis, crisis, challenging time, project deliverables, client erosion, give your shoulder, 200% give your effort. I will tell you that the organization will respond back to you. The organization is not blind. I know that in government ecosystems where my parents have experienced government ecosystems where even you put extra effort, your career growth is limited. There's the tenure board promotions, but corporates need good talent. There may be exception of 10% of corporate blindfolded, not encouraging the talent, but like you need a good job, they need a good talent. They watch you when they're going through that challenging time. Who supported them, who gave their shoulders to them. So please do your best. And the second thing is the 20% of time, not about today doing the job well. You spend time on learning, acquiring, developing new soft skills. And the future is equally important when career management is more driven by individual. Soft skills plays a very critical role. And even in a career ladders, you want to become a manager, director, vice president, CXOs. The more you are growing in the career, the less the importance of your functional skills, more importance of leadership skills and people skills and other things. So build that. That is where you can secure the career and expand your expertise with, say, a special project and develop mentors, build relationships. I have seen very few people in my career weekends go out, spend time with the mentors, or call them once in a month, ask for advices, and now trying to understand what is that something they can do more. And rest of the 10% of time in plan your career and always assess where you are in the planning stage, what is the things you need to improve, and also use social media to build your reputation. Be it ensure that your LinkedIn profile is well crafted, because nowadays mid to senior level positions, people are using LinkedIn is a very effective platform to identify the right talent. And the forums you follow, the groups you are in, the comments you write, people will watch it. Do not underestimate that. And last but not least, in the 10% type of time, give back to the society. It will give it back to you. And I have done it. Whenever I have a time, sometime I'll take it out for society in the form, be it in a different form, you give it back. It will definitely come back to you. So the closing note on how do we execute is please understanding that the career journey is not like a straight road. I have not seen a linear someone going like this. It is like canyons and valleys. Sometimes you go up, sometimes you come down. So it is like sometimes you zigzag careers like career lattice. It's not like a straight road. Please acknowledge that. And if you can make your manager as a partner with your career management or development plan, the 20% of time what I'm talking about, you investing, that can go with the investments of the organization. He can fund that. He can sponsor you the project. He can put you into some of the projects, put you in projects or some of the assignments, some of the courses to you. And it's all important is you cannot have a reactive approach to that. You need to plan in advance, because these are all the things you cannot do it overnight and manage your career better. So while closing note is that I have seen 7 attitudinal traits or some of the habits with the successful people who manage the career very, very well. The first thing is they have a career plan and that is built on career anchors. That's important. Career plan, you can't build on something on your weaknesses or areas you don't have strengths, or where it is not, your anchors doesn't support that. The career anchors are very, very important. Those anchors available on the job or the career ladder, you enjoy a lot. When you feel that this is your passion or life calling, you are able to manage the hurdles very well, difficulties overcome very easily with a smile. So that's very important. And and you can experience aha moment because you build your career planning with build on based on career anchor. Aha moment every day is aha moment. You wake up early, you go to the office because this is your passion, it's your calling, it's not a job. The second thing is I have seen with successful career management is stakeholder management. You not only do the job, well, communicate, manage the stakeholder, inform them what is happening, and gain more and more experience is very important. Third is the reputation. It is don't leave your reputation in the hands of the market, talent market. You manage your reputation because a lot of times you feel like you did interview well, but you haven't got the offer letter because the hiring manager will be doing the discretionary checks. Unfortunately, your reputation precedes you. I'm not saying they will talk to one person, will take a call, they may talk to 2 to 3 people, but they consistently say that no, this is a very difficult person to work with. He talks, but don't do the work, and gone. All the efforts now. So all the good work is gone. And plan it. Ensure that not only having a plan, but ensure that you apply 70, 20, 10 in terms of time management to do well. And last but not least, a lot of resumes are pre-screened. And one of the reason I reject the resume, someone I noticed that frequent job changes, and I see that when the job changes, transitions between the roles and companies, it's not appropriate. I don't even consider them because we feel that it's a threat for me. If any small resistance will come, this person may look out than staying there and fighting and being successful in the role. Unless you have a strong reason, don't change the job for money. It's very, very important. And also be agile because today jobs ecosystem is changing. So don't expect that job comes to you. You need to go to them. You need to knock the opportunities. Last but not least, in case you are going for mid-career crisis, please talk to mentor. The first question to you, all of you, do you have a mentor, a serious mentor? Do you have a champion? And if you don't have it, don't worry, start cultivating now. Don't wait for the day where you are in trouble, go to the mentor and say that you are my mentor, for please help me, but build it right now. And if that is not there, engage a career coach to bring back a mojo in you. Okay. Thank you so much. And at RHL Licenses, we believe, our HR function believes in every employee there is potential to do better. And we believe that is what makes us, me and my team, to come with smile and energy to the office every day. Thank you so much. And over to you, Prashant.
Thank you so much, Suresh. Thank you so much. If I may request you to please stop the share.
Yeah.
So we'll get you on board here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just stop the share.
Yeah.
So thanks. I mean, that was quite riveting, and I guess you really covered a lot of bases from plans and from anxious moments. And before I just jump into the questions, just want a quick takeaway from the audience that's here. What's the one thing that they felt that they resonated the most with in the last many minutes that we heard Suresh talk about? I mean, you can type in your comment on the chat box to just get a flavor of what you took up. Okay, network is your net worth. Okay, we are getting some new inputs as well, Suresh. I think you can read the creating reputation is the key. Thanks, Arvindan. Yeah, reputation management. It just helps us, as a facilitator to really judge the pulses that's actually happening. Relationship. Okay, beautiful comments coming in. Credibility is the currency. I think you've given some nice little jargons here, Suresh. As you went along the slides, I have got mine as well. I'll of course share them. Yeah, focused efforts, the 70-20-10 ratio. Yeah, nice, Vimal, a manager, a stakeholder in the whole process. Very nice. Getting some very strong opinions about what you felt was most relevant to you. Thank you so much. While your comments keep coming in, Suresh, I really loved the transcend that you brought about in the entire session. And right from the wishy, glossy, lazy, I mean, that was some very cute I think Panchatantra back days that we looked at, and how you actually move, the 5 career derailers, and we often tend to miss those early signs. And when you actually miss those signs, that's when we tend to go off the track. The myths, in fact, that was a very powerful one. And I remember our conversations when you said that it's not an organization's responsibility to manage your career. I mean, at some point of time, you got to start taking the lead. And that's where in your formulae, the 2010 starts playing a very vital role. They may look 30%, but I think it's that 30% that takes you ahead, very typically to the 3-box scenario, where you actually, how much time do you spend in the third box, which is all about the future planning. I mean, a company like Amazon does that beautifully well, over the last number of decades. I mean, that's really done that quite well. And some interesting piece. And I think I also like the point where you said about, have your expertise built in 2 areas, because as you go the journey along, you really tend to try and do that. So that's a very interesting piece. And thank you for your comments on that. I'm just going to get on to one very interesting question to you, Suresh, on what's been your journey. I mean, you've had a very successful journey seeming across industries and job functions. I mean, I would like you to quickly walk us through that journey of yours, before I actually start moving ahead.
Good. Thank you, Prashant. As indicated, 3 big career transitions I took it. I was a product salesperson when I started my career in 1995. In 2001 timeframe, I took a career transition to talent acquisition, because that's a function close to sales and marketing, talent acquisition. Nobody's ready to give a role to me in human resources, they said no. So I don't have a MBA degree that time. I was engineer, mechanical engineer. So that's a one transition. So the second one, I took it from talent acquisition to HR business partner. That transition took approximately 4 or 5 years. This sales to talent acquisition, it is again 5 to 6 years kind of a transition. Last but not least, I took transition from MNC IT product company to Indian pharma corporate services company. These are the 3 transitions. The challenges are I enjoyed it actually. The reason is it is part of my career planning, Prashant.
Okay.
It is really because my personality type is that I will plan and then execute. I'm not a guy who jump on that and react to something coming up. I'm a little thinker profile. So I planned it because in 2000 time frame, I gone through a career coaching session that time, or a career counseling session. That gentleman is not there. He was a CEO of a company called one of the IT startup companies. But he told me that your career anchors are more connected with today's personal department, and future it's called human resources department. Absolutely. Why are you sticking to salesman? It is not the function for you. The anchors are all leading to HR. Then I said, who will give me that job, sir? He said, you believe in that, start moving. Then I reflected, read the book. I felt that that is my life calling. Because that meeting is life calling, that is the function is life calling. Then I got into a very small job in talent acquisition. So a small company and talent acquisition, and never look back, because every day is a learning, every day is a calling, every day is some contribution. That's a big, so the problem I faced that time is nobody's ready to do the job, because I'm moving from function to function. And I don't have expertise on that. The second transition, talent acquisition to HR business partner, which to span across 5 years, is the challenge is my peers, they never accepted me that time. They think he's a talent acquisition guy. Why are you moving him to HR business? What he know? No, this guy, and in fact, I can tell you one narrative. I got into one of the telecalls 5 minutes before the call start time. The call is about to announce that I will be promoted to a HR business partner, director as a HR business partner for that company. And my manager, one of my junior was talking to my manager, and I just got into the call. She was saying that I don't want to report to Suresh. He's a talent HR operations guy. He doesn't know. He can't add value to me. I don't want to report. I leave the company. I was shocked to hear. I was on the call, but those days Zooms are not there. It's more like Cisco calls. And so that kind of pain I have gone through. But I took it. And the third transition is stakeholder challenging. When I came to GVK Bio, now it is Arajan. Stakeholder says that he's IT man, what he understands farmer. He can't add that. I took it. I took it head on, saying that I'm agile, I'm passionate. At the end of the day, I want to add value to the people. That's what my purpose is. So I could able to do that. Learnings is all about is if you plan well, and if you wanted to do that, it is your life calling. These transitions are nothing. It is a wonderful experience. If not, they're all painful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. And just a little build up on that, and taking in some cues from a lot of chats that came in. You spoke about a formula where you could manage your career and build a reputation, and the reputation piece was something that's very interesting. And you also made a comment that it's a multiplier. What should we make out of this?
See, this reputation is sometimes a process of passive process. You don't know that what reputation you are creating. You don't know. You are doing the work, but the perceptions are built. And unfortunately, in our education system, our career management system, people don't emphasize much on that reputation. They always talk about skills and other things. So it's all about, it is not, don't give that reputation in the hands of others. And the best way to manage it, you need to communicate what you stand for, correct? And that's why you need to take control of your reputation. Don't give it to your manager, your colleagues, or your subordinates. You need to communicate, what you're known for that, that should be what you're known for should be part of your career anchors. You should not be known for something else. So the why I say multiplier, that reputation is, as indicated, 1/3 of senior leaders I interviewed, I like them. Let us take, I interviewed around 30 people in the last 1 year time. I like them. 30, I like them. I only extended offer to 20. The rest of the 10, I could not able to do that because today industry at a senior management level, director and above, we don't take people without doing discretionary reference check, correct?
Yep.
And I know that people will say you are wrong. How can you call my, no, how can you do that? You should know, I will give reference check. But even you say that, we'll do discretionary reference check with 2 or 3 people. If there is a consistent message from 2 or 3 that this person is good or no, don't take him. Nobody will say don't take him. They will say, oh, Suresh, he applied? Enough. I get enough clues about. Not like that so the 2 people says that we understand what it means. So that 1/3 of selected candidates we could not able to offer because of reputation risk. Because that important. So please take charge and do that. Very important. The reputation can be online, reputation can be offline, but you need to manage both to manage the career reputation.
Interesting one. And I think I like that non-verbal cues sometimes gives a lot of spoken words out, and that's there. So at this stage, it's an interesting piece, and I had a lot of questions, but I'm going to cut short some of them, Suresh, because I'm also going to get in maybe after 5 minutes some audience questions. The way it looks like, are we okay to extend the whole session by 5 minutes, Suresh? Are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we have quite a few questions coming in for Suresh Garu, and I think we'll certainly pull them up as we go ahead. I'm going to get into a poll at the moment, okay? And I just want this, Suresh. This is a little poll to really launch something that you spoke about on the mid-crisis, right? The mid-career crisis. And I would like the audience to just pick up and share. Have you faced a mid-crisis, a mid-career crisis? Yes, no, or I don't know how to even recognize it. Okay, we have 5 of them. That's an interesting piece. Okay. More than 50% have attended it. Yep. Oh, that's interesting. I have somebody says that I don't know how to recognize it. Yes, it is. It's quite a obvious challenge at some points of time.
Yes.
Especially when you've not had certain jolts as you begin your career, you sometimes don't know where you land up in. So that's quite an overwhelming 60% that talks about it at a yes, and some people know. So my question to you, I think, Suresh, is that transitions are getting very anxious at the mid-career stage. How can one align themselves to have a smooth landing in terms of probably a function change or an industry change or a role change? What would be your mantra? You've actually done all the 3. So I thought you're the best guy to really answer this. What's your mantra for managing a mid-career change?
See, One is, it is always painful if you act at that moment. Uh, do not wait for that. The first mantra is do not wait for that. If you're the early EWS, early warning signal, please smell it. It's very important. The first lesson I have it is smell it. The rating, you are the last man to know what is happening in the company. You're no reward and recognition in the last 1 year. And you started now realizing that some of the key meetings you are not there. And the organization talking about cost cutting, they're saying no, some of the layers are not adding value. You get enough clues before you get into the mid-career crisis. And our ability to read that is important. Please don't ignore that. That's the first step. Okay. The second step is whenever you get a mid-career crisis, I already gave some description of, have built expertise on 2 skills. Don't rely on only one part, one skill, one area. You should have 2. So that in case the first career path, you hit the roadblock, is because the skills rapidly changing, you're not able to acquire on that line skills, you have a second career path. So the building 2 paths are very, very important. Third, invest. Third is mid-career crisis. Please understand that your current company may not be valuing the role and your experiences, but the industries, sometimes I call now industries behind your industry, like IT industry, FMCG, pharma industry, example. From an IT implementation perspective, FMCG or pharma or automotive industries, maybe 5-7 years laggers on that IT technology. You can please move to that industries. You still respected, valued, paid well. They see you as a demigod because you have seen something 5 years ahead of that time. So some of the techniques, you can adopt this and build soft skills. And one thing I can tell you that the days of IQ are slowly replaced by Google, to a certain extent. It is the era of EQ and SQ. It is the social intelligence and emotional intelligence dominates your career growth. Invest on that as much you can on social intelligence and emotional intelligence, as much you can. So emotional intelligence will take you mid-level to senior management, but CXOs need social intelligence too, need to go up. So let us invest on these are 3-4 techniques helps you, and obviously having a mentor, having a coach, nothing like that to manage the career transition better.
Beautiful, beautiful. I like the piece that you brought in about emotional intelligence and the social intelligence, and there's a lot of work that's happening on that front. Just as a follow-up question to this, somewhere I saw you spoke about careers, you spoke about trying to maintain 2 while you build on your core, get into another one. So about these protein careers and the gig workers, how do you see this scaling up in the coming years? Today with older or existing jobs getting redefined, the work from home concept or work from anywhere concept getting more acceptable, where should one factor these aspects in one's career management?
Good. See, this is not a reality right now. Gig workforce in the white collar jobs, gig economy is a reality in blue collar jobs or casual labor area right now in India ecosystem. But I can smell and sense that even white collar jobs are going to move into that area down the line because of some of the industry trends we are seeing there. Are we ready for that right now? No, because in India ecosystem, job means someone will take white colored shirt and take a bike or car and go to the office and come back home. One interesting thing happened is COVID taught us that you can work from home too. Yeah. And your spouse can bear you for the 10 hours of pain you give, 10 times coffee, she's ready to So at least the resilience has built in for this protein careers. That includes that it is not the company or organization managing your career. It is you managing your career around your passion. Correct. So you may service to 5 clients on the expertise area. So there's nothing like a vertical career or something like that. So this gig economy moving into white collar jobs, I see that in 5 years down the line, it is going to gain a lot of momentum. I have seen some websites also saying that you have 10 years experience, you are US returned, want to work on hourly basis, part-time basis, please apply, we are ready to pay that. And it's going to gain the momentum and you need to be ready for that. And you need to factor that. but it not only factoring that, it may demand new skills too, the soft skills. For example, you are prior to this meeting, you and Anjani was talking about digital communication, isn't it? How do you handle your presentations in the digital ecosystem? These are all important if you are getting into that kind of gig economy and putting careers. So you need to factor that and build skills around it.
Beautiful, beautiful. I always knew HR have these 6 cents and 7 cents, and I never knew that your 6 cents actually gave me a little premonition on what's the next question going to come up. And I'm going to come to that. But just on a lighter note, you spoke about a lot of tolerance level building up with a lot of work from home at home. So managing the social environment at home, you call that some social skills or, or domestic skills? What do you call them? Okay, I guess, I mean, if you want your round of coffees to continue, it's better to be, this is like the answer you said, right? How Suresh, it went like that.
So there is no word for that management.
Okay, so I'm just going to get on to my next poll. Okay, I'm going to make a next poll, which is going to be in tune to what you just spoke about, the digital piece. The question comes up on your screens now. How do you manage your digital presence as a part of career management? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Twitter? I want to, but not really active. Or I'm not sure if it's really helpful as well. And I know I'm going to ask this question to you, Suresh, because you are very qualitatively digitally involved. And I guess that's going to help us as an audience. Okay, so we have quite a few that's a LinkedIn purely from a professional window. I want to, but really not active. So that's a very interesting piece. And, close to 65% speak about LinkedIn, but an equally 35% want to, but really not active. And let me just end this poll here and then, go to my question to you.
Yes.
Sorry. What are your must-do digital tips for an aspiring career advancer?
It varies between level to level. If you are entry level, you are a mid career, you are a top manager, you are in that career ladder. So leadership level, so approaches may slightly change. The one I can tell you, because looking at the audience, most of them are with 10 to 20 years experience in this audience. So what relevant is, I can tell you one story. So we hired a CFO for Arajan from Abot. He was CFO for Abot and he joined with us. On the day one, he was talking to my CEO and myself. He said, hey, so I said, when you extended offer to me, I spoke to my colleagues, my friends, my well-wisher, that I got opportunity from Arajan as a CFO. And interestingly, they said, oh, we know Suresh Anabolu. And they are marketing people, he said. These words, they are marketing, not HR. Then I said, yeah, he's the guy who recruited me to. But how do you know you are a marketing person? But we know Suresh because he writes LinkedIn weekly nudges. Yes. And then he went and spoke to some of his family acquaintances. He got same response. I'm so happy to say that on the day one, my CFO talking to me and my CEO, talking about my reputation, which came through my LinkedIn. Correct? If it is not LinkedIn, Prashant, absolutely, I'm saying I may not have the reach what I got it to. So first thing is, you can use this digital presence effectively and communicate your brand. By writing nudges, what I did is I was communicating as a thought leader, correct? I want to, correct? And second, I want to contribute to that 70-20-10. I want to contribute to my HR better meeting. Sincerely, genuinely. I take time, 4 hours of time every weekend to do that. At the same time, it is helping my brand. So for a leadership, that positioning is important. I don't want someone to say, Arajan, I don't know, Suresh is a passive person, but that's the message. I'm proactively managing my brand. In addition to that, the kind of responses I give to some of the qualitative postings, my narrative also helps me in my brand. Whenever I write it, some other people like it, comment on that. So again, I'm trying to reinforce that, not only encouraging other people, also ensuring that my perspectives are refined. It's very important is the LinkedIn profile. Your digital presence starts with what you articulate in LinkedIn profile. A lot of times people don't know that the subject line of LinkedIn profile, what it should speak in. That is the That is the crux of it. Most often, I look at the profile of a LinkedIn for 30 seconds or 28 to 30 seconds, take a call. Can I at least reach out to him or no? 30 seconds. What I will read, first we'll go and see the subject and what he's describing about himself. Second, I see the companies and the roles. Third, transitions, how frequently is transitioning. And then if I have a time more than 30 seconds, I will see the other positive comments, what they wait. Otherwise, I will make a call, that 30 seconds. And that's how the digital presence is. At an entry level is your LinkedIn profile. Advanced level is the comments you write to. Most advanced level is you driving the digital presence, brand, and a reputation you driving.
Beautiful. I think some nice transitions. And for those who heard him very well, that was a sneak peek from a CHRO on how he decides to look at profiles, a 30-second glimpse. And just a little to your LinkedIn post. I mean, you seemed, I mean, I really got through a little of your formula that you put in, but you've been very special in the kind of videos that you post on your LinkedIn things. And, we've also asked this question before. I remember you somehow seem to get, a lot of thousands of views on what's your research modality to add a video to your nudge?
So what I do is, it's that I said 4 to 5 hours of every weekend, isn't it? I go through, see, sometimes these videos, someone sent it to me in a groups or, I will store all these videos. I open for again 30 seconds. If it is interesting, I will forward it to my family group, where my daughter and myself, my wife will be there. They know that it may not be interesting to them. They know that this man is sending it for nudge. So I will keep forwarding all these things and collecting in that WhatsApp group of my.
That's your reservoir.
Reservoir, storage bin. and weekend I will go through that and see, is there anything which is connecting to me, my passion, my liking, my expression, what I wanted. If it is not there, then I will go to Google and research it, YouTube and Google. I take a theme and then research.
Beautiful.
Otherwise, the vice versa. I will look into video, then write it. That's how I do that.
Good.
And I will compress it to 2.5 minutes video, not more than 3 minutes video.
Yeah.
My daughter helps me.
Practical tips. And I think this is, this is beautiful. I've got one last question before I take in a couple of questions that's come on the box. As an internationally certified coach yourself, where do you see or recommend the role of coaching in this journey of managing one's career? You gave a lot of those pieces during your session, but what's your quick take on this before I take in a few questions?
See, the coaching, multiple areas you can do that, but most effective for organizations is career transitions. Most of the organizations, they promote the person to the senior roles or most important roles. They think that HR department has enough bandwidth, capability, mindset, tools to better assimilate a best way of assimilating him to the role in the first 30 days or something like that. Actually, these are all the pockets of failures. The 30 days to 60 days, you give a high responsibility. He never understands that what got him there will not get him to that role, successful in that role. He's trying to mimic the behaviors, traits, what he acquired in the previous role, and he's trying to set the tone there. So career coaching, one of the important area in the organization context is transitions management, very, very important. And someone need to spend, the role expectation change. They need to change the habits. They need to change the way they're spending time on the new role. It cannot be the like earlier pattern. Time application need to change, habits need to change, skill need to change. That coaching for first 3 months, I see a first major impact. The second area I can see that in career management is career planning also. Career planning, there are tools available, but people don't have expertise to use it. Self-assessment, strength finder, five-factor theories, not many things. First you should know your strength and anchors, to design your career better. The second area I can see that career coaching can help. Third is mid-career crisis. You need to coach them to such a way that they again the mojo is back, self-esteem is back, and it's not easy once you lose that mojo, the depression feeling. How do you bring him back to that original energies? These are the 3 areas I can see coaching, career coaching has a maximum impact for sure.
That's nice. I think, and I think as a coaching company, it also gives us a lot of straight insights from CHRO's viewpoint. There's a nice question that comes in from Arvindan, which talks about which is the best thing to build a career: exploring same company where your reputation is built, or explore where you see a great opportunity as well because of the specialist role and the demand. So one, is it intra-company or is it an inter-company? I mean, that's what I would gather from Arvindan's question. What's the best thing to build a career?
Good. I think one of my friends taught me one lesson. He was working for Deloitte, my roommate. He told me that at one point of time, I felt I achieved what I wanted in Arjun. Can I explore outside? I had a weekend talk with him. Oh, I did everything. What he said, he introduced a concept called sweat equity. Very nice concept. He said, Suresh, don't do that. Don't do that. When you need to look out, despite you achieved your career goal, or no, despite no. So, if an organization is not going to grow, if an organization is not able to give a growth what you expect it to be, that is the time. If something external opportunity is lucrative or a better experience, you can look out. If an organization is growing, the sweat equity you created in the couple of 6 years or 7 years, it's worth sticking to that organization and being there. And it is really worth, because they are ready to experiment with you in case of crisis or organization challenges, to put me to other role, because the existing company, other company may not have that connect with you. So I did that advice of sweat equity. I stick to the Arjun. Now it is 10 years.
Absolutely.
Because I always indicated to my friend, because the one best advice he gave me is sweat equity. In fact, it's really wonderfully worked out for many areas, monetary wise, career growth wise, because I stick on to Arjun because of his just one word, sweat equity. Don't lose that.
That's nice. I mean, that's a very nice dimension to sweat equity. And I guess, thank you so much, Suresh. We've just been exceeding our time, but I think it's been very engaging. The audience has been with rapt attention hearing you. Your entire nuggets on the way you had your personal journey to those really power-packed sessions and nuggets that you gave us. So while you nudge us on LinkedIn, you did give us a lot of nuggets here, which it actually helped us understand this journey of managing careers a lot better. On behalf of the Bento Coach, thank you so much, Suresh. And if I may just very quickly remind our audience about our series. Thanks, Suresh. I think we've had our first industry guest, and you've been beautifully setting the tone for us, and our expectations just rise higher now going forward. The TBC web series we began last month with 2 sessions on digital body language, and then moved on to this month of the roadmap to work. And while we had Vimal who addressed on what it takes to really come back to work, I think Suresh, you beautifully lapped it up with the kind of way to manage one's career. I mean, the formulas were perfect. I think you gave us a lot of practical tips on not only managing a career, how you faced it, plus also managing yourself digitally. So I thought we had the best of both worlds of the last months as well as this. And as we move ahead to the next month, we are going to have two webinars coming up. I'll be taking one on making feedbacks count. That's happening on the 2nd of October. And on the 16th, we're going to have another industry person who will join us to talk about how feedbacks can be relevant in the day-to-day work. You can stay connected with us on the numbers, on the email IDs, as well as on the website, thebentocoach.com. Thank you everyone for your time, for this session. Thank you very much, Suresh. I think on behalf of Anjani, Vimal, and myself, it's been a pleasure to connect again. It's been a pleasure to hear you in a very different form. We always knew you as a coach, but yes, now we also know the man behind the coach, and I'm sure your organization and the people that you deal with are highly impacted and influenced.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, Prashant, Anjali, and Vimal. Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, and have a very good evening, everybody.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye. Have a good day. Please take care, team. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Suresh. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.